Hello, my friends, and welcome back to Creative and Called, a podcast for women who are ready to turn their God-given gifts into income, impact, and a life they love. I'm Marcy, a mom of two, creative entrepreneur, and the designer behind Simply Hooked crochet patterns. So before I start today's episode, I want to update you on life. Our sweet little girl joined us 5 weeks ago. Her name is Birdie, and I am holding her right now. She's actually in the middle of feeding and sleeping and feeding and sleeping, but this was the only time I had to really record this episode, so we're just going with it. So if you hear little squeaks, that is where they're coming from. But thank you to everyone who commented on that episode I did with the questions I had. I'm happy to update you that the second time around is going really well. I am so in love with her. She's the sweetest little thing. I really am in newborn heaven. Like it wasn't this wonderful the first time around because I had no idea what I was doing. But this second time around, oh my goodness. And also knowing that she's the last, I think helps too, but I am just soaking it in. She's the sweetest thing and all is going well. And Big Brother is obsessed, wants to hold her all the time and feed her. So anyways, just wanted to let y'all know that all is well and she is with us, and I'm just thrilled to have her with me today. So today's episode, this one's a little different in the coolest possible way. So I recently heard Mark Cuban talking about this new tool called Notebook LM from Google. Have you heard of this? It lets you upload your own content like blog posts, transcripts, notes, PDF of research, anything like that. And then it generates a summary of what you uploaded. So it can help you kind of break things down in layman terms. At least that's one of the features. Another feature it has is it can generate an audio file that takes all of the information that you uploaded into it and turns it into a podcast episode. So naturally, I was very curious and had to try this out. So I uploaded about 10 or 11 transcripts of podcast episodes that I have written from the podcast. And just to play with it, see what it would say. And so it summarized basically, my journey as an entrepreneur, my mindset shifts, and all the business strategies. I'm like, okay, that's pretty accurate. And then I clicked on the generate an audio file. And I'll be, y'all, it is one of the coolest things ever. There is a 24-minute podcast episode of two completely AI-generated people. I'm calling them people because it sounds so real. Talking about me, telling my story as a crochet artist and an entrepreneur. The voice is clearly not mine, but the words are 100% me. These are all episodes that I've written. And it sounds shockingly real. I just had to share this with you. If you're also a business owner, maybe you could use a tool like this yourself. I don't know. I just wanted to share it to let more people know about this in case it is helpful. So sit back, take a listen, and let me know what you think. All right, here we go.
Welcome to a deep dive into the fascinating world of turning a creative passion into a real, thriving business. Today, we're digging into the story of a crochet artist named Marcy. She built this pretty amazing, multifaceted enterprise, all from her craft. We've got a whole stack of her insights here, personal notes, bits from podcasts she was on, specific business strategies she shared. Our mission really is to pull out the key lessons, those aha moments, and maybe some surprising facts that made her journey work and, importantly, made it fulfilling for her.
Yeah, and what's really compelling, I think, is that Marcy's story isn't just about, like, scaling up a business in the typical sense. It's really about this deep, profound shift in her mindset. That seems to be the foundation for every single strategic move she made.
Yeah.
Well, look at how she went from making stuff she herself called hideous at the start.
We've all been there.
Oh, totally. From that to landing a book deal with a major publisher, getting her designs on international magazine covers. It's quite the arc.
So if you've ever wondered, how to turn something you love into something more, or maybe you feel like your passion project is too niche to ever be a real business, well, get ready. We're about to unpack some really transformative lessons here, and honestly, they apply way beyond just crochet. Okay, let's rewind right back to the beginning. Marcy's crochet journey. She picked up her first hook in October 2012, found it was kind of an introvert's escape, she said, and then boom, totally obsessed, staying up till 2 a.m., learning knots and stitches from YouTube videos. Her very first amigurumi, that's those little crocheted stuffed figures, was a pig, and in her words, absolutely hideous. But she also said it filled her with this immense pride.
And that hideous pig moment, it's so relatable, isn't it?
Yeah.
We all have those first attempts at something creative.
Definitely.
That we look back on and maybe cringe a bit. But that feeling of pride just from making something, anything, even if it's imperfect, that's huge. So the next question is, what makes someone like Marcy, who's just enjoying this hobby, start thinking about selling?
That's a good point, because that initial success, even with something hideous, is interesting. What do you think really pushed her from just enjoying it to actually pursuing sales?
Well, it seems like it was a mix of things. She mentioned having an early entrepreneurial bug, which led her to try Etsy. And then in 2015, she did her first craft show, made a surprising $200, which, isn't nothing.
Right. Validation.
Exactly. But the major catalyst was personal. Her son was born in January 2021. And suddenly, as she put it, life got really expensive.
Ah, okay. Reality bites.
Totally. And that financial pressure is what prompted her to go all in, as she said, on the business by January 2022. It shifted from being just a passion project to, a necessity.
Okay, so life gets expensive. You've got a baby, a full-time job. How on earth did she find the time for this? What was her solution? Because that's often the biggest hurdle.
Yeah, and her solution was, pretty radical. She started waking up at 4 a.m.
Wow.
Yep. To get 3 solid, uninterrupted hours of work done before the rest of the house woke up. She talked about finding this peaceful escape in those super early, dark, quiet mornings. That level of discipline it's seriously inspiring, but it's also a huge ask, right?
For sure. Not everyone's a 4 a.m. person.
Exactly. And I think the core lesson isn't necessarily about the 4 a.m. itself. It's more about carving out that focused, non-negotiable time. For her, it worked. It was almost meditative. For someone else, it might be locking the office door during lunch or dedicating Tuesday nights or whatever. The key is finding your pocket of quiet, uninterrupted time and protecting it fiercely.
That makes a lot of sense. Find your own 4 a.m., whatever time it is. She also mentioned worrying initially that crochet was too visual for something like audio, like a podcast, or that selling finished physical products online was just inherently difficult to scale. She said something like, e-commerce wants one SKU, one URL multiple times. Can you unpack that a bit?
Sure. She was bumping up against a classic challenge for handmade sellers. That phrase, one SKU, one URL multiple times, basically means standard e-commerce systems are built for efficiency. They want one specific product that's the CU, the stock keeping unit, like a barcode for a specific item listed on one page, the URL, that you can sell over and over again easily.
Like selling the same blue t-shirt in size medium hundreds of times.
Exactly. But handmade items, especially unique or custom ones, they don't fit that neat model. Each piece might be slightly different, take time to make. It's harder to just automate and scale up production and inventory like you can with mass-produced goods.
Got it. So it requires a different approach.
Right. And looking at the bigger picture here, her whole journey really highlights this fundamental shift. It's not just about enjoying making things anymore. It becomes about intentionally, deliberately designing a life around that passion. She realized her purpose wasn't just the crochet itself, but sharing her journey. She used this great metaphor, being on mile 6 of the marathon, acknowledging the struggle, fighting imposter syndrome.
Oh yeah, the imposter syndrome is real.
Totally. And encouraging others to stick with it, to be the 3% who don't give up. She deeply believed that just pure persistence is a massive key to success.
Okay, so beyond the practical stuff, the strategies, this is where, for me, it gets really interesting. The internal shifts Marcy went through. She talked about learning from Kathy Heller, this idea that you are the architect of your own life.
Mm-hmm.
Moving past that sort of standard script,
Mm-hmm.
the go to college, get a decent job, raise a family, retire with your sheet cake path.
Right. The expected path.
Yeah. And instead, consciously designing the life she actually wanted.
Which is powerful. But it begs the question, how do you figure out what that blueprint even is for your own life? It's not always obvious.
Sure.
For Marcy, a big breakthrough came from exploring the Japanese concept of ikigai.
Ah, ikigai. I've heard of that. It means like a reason for being.
Exactly. A reason for being, or maybe a reason to get up in the morning. And it's not necessarily about finding one single grand earth-shattering purpose. It's often more about finding joy and meaning in the everyday things, the process. It's deeply embedded in the culture of Okinawa, actually.
Okinawa.
Oh.
Isn't that one of the blue zones? Places where people live exceptionally long lives.
That's the one. It was featured in that Secrets of the Blue Zones show. Ikigai is seen as a key factor in their longevity and well-being.
So how did Marcy use ikigai? I know there's that Venn diagram model people often use.
Yeah, the 4 circles. It asks you to identify what you love, what the world needs, what you're good at, and what you can be paid for.
And where they all overlap, that sweet spot in the middle.
That's supposedly your ikigai, your reason for being. For Marcy, going through that exercise really clarified things. She saw the common thread was this deep love for creativity, particularly building things from scratch and then sharing that process or the result with others. It helped her see how her business wasn't just something she enjoyed, but it actually met a real need in the world. The need for art, for beauty, for creative outlets.
It's a powerful connection to make.
And there's an insight from Dr. Isa Kavadijija, an anthropologist who studied ikigai. It's really relevant here. She emphasizes that ikigai is often more about the process, about being immersed in an activity you find meaningful.
Like the flow state artists talk about.
Exactly. It's not just about achieving the final goal, which fits perfectly with creative work like crochet, doesn't it? The making itself is rewarding.
Absolutely.
And this connects to another really powerful idea Marcy embraced. You are the potter. Your life is the clay. She admitted feeling almost embarrassed sometimes when she first said she wanted to crochet full-time.
I can imagine. People probably said things like,
Oh, yeah, she'd hear, oh, cute, or that's nice, dear, but don't you need to, pay the bills?
that kind of subtle dismissal.
Right. But she made a conscious choice to reshape that narrative, not just for herself, but because she felt other women need to see what's possible. She took ownership of her story.
Okay, let's really dig into this core belief she holds. Business is 90% mindset and 10% strategy. That's a bold statement.
It is.
She genuinely believes that what happens externally, like business success, flows directly from your internal beliefs and state of being. She even talks about herself as energy, vibrating at a certain frequency, and attracting things, opportunities, people, sales that match that inner frequency.
It sounds a bit out there, maybe, but think about it. She uses the defibrillator example. Your body literally runs on electrical energy.
True.
And the idea is that your thoughts, your emotions, they impact that energy, that frequency you're putting out.
Like tuning a radio. If you are tuned to a negative station, you get static. But if you tune to a positive one,
That's a great analogy. Yeah. It's about aligning your internal broadcast with what you want to receive.
okay.
Physics actually has this concept of resonance. Things vibrating at the same frequency amplify each other. That's kind of the idea here. We attract what resonates with our inner state. It reminds me of that Wayne Dyer quote. You don't get what you want. You get what you are.
Powerful.
Emphasizes that it's your state of being, your energy, not just your wishful thinking or words that the universe or maybe just circumstances seem to respond to.
And Deepak Chopra's idea fits here too, right? Energy flows where intention goes.
Absolutely. It means consciously directing your focus, your attention towards what's possible, what's good, what's beautiful, helps those things actually grow and expand in your experience.
So it's not just wishful thinking, it's active focus.
Exactly. And Marcy really emphasizes the practical side of this mindset work. It's not passive.
Right. She mentions awareness, being conscious of your thoughts, drawing from Bob Proctor's work.
Yes, and consistent self-development. She echoes Jim Rohn's famous line, if you want to improve your business, you have to improve yourself. The business is a reflection of you.
So you have to work on the internal you just as much, if not more, than the external strategy.
Precisely. It's about staying hungry, as Les Brown puts it, keeping that drive alive, and trusting the process, believing your harvest will come if you just stay consistent, even when growth feels painfully slow sometimes.
Okay, so mindset is huge, the foundation. But then she did implement very concrete strategies. Let's talk about those strategic pillars. First one, multiple revenue streams. This seems critical.
Oh, massively important, especially today.
She referenced a study by Thomas E. Corley. 65% of the self-made millionaires he studied had at least 3 income streams.
Right. And Marcy.
Yeah.
She didn't just aim for 3. She went from one mainstream, probably Etsy initially, to having 11 different ones currently.
11, wow.
Yeah. And she mentioned having 3 more in the hopper, like in development, and even more on her radar for the future.
So it wasn't just about having many streams. It was about how they interact, maybe, creating stability.
Exactly that. When you zoom out, that diversification is your safety net. Algorithms change on social media. One platform might decline, markets shift.
Like putting your eggs in multiple baskets.
Precisely. If one stream slows down, the others can keep you afloat. It provides real stability, which is crucial, especially for creatives whose income can fluctuate.
Can you list some of her current streams just to give people an idea of the possibilities?
Sure. So there's Etsy, still. Her own Shopify website, which gives her more control. Amazon Handmade. Interesting note there. She called it a Q4 sales machine, especially for things like mug cozies and coffee mugs.
Q4, the holiday season.
Right. She said it generated $4,000 in December 2023 alone, which is significant, even though she noted the fees on Amazon Handmade are pretty high, like 25-30%.
Ouch. But still worth it for that volume.
Apparently so.
Uh-huh.
Then there are craft markets, custom orders, selling patterns on Ravelry. That's a big online hub for knitters and crochets. She uses Teachable for hosting an online course. There's a local small business marketplace she participates in. She even earned a bit from Meta performance bonuses, like $90 for one Facebook post that got shared 400 times.
Every little bit counts.
Totally. Magazine commissions where they provide the yarn, she designs something, and they get exclusive rights for about 6 months. And of course, the advance for her book deal.
That's an incredible range. And the one she's working on.
She mentioned getting her YouTube channel monetized. She was super close, needed 4,000 watch hours, and was at 3,900. Then book royalty payments once the book is out, and eventually podcast monetization too.
Wow. Okay, pillar number 2. Mastering SEO, search engine optimization. This can feel daunting.
It really can. And Marcy admitted making a huge mistake early on.
Oh, yeah. What was that?
Naming her product listings based on what she called them, like cute character names. Terrence the teddy bear.
Ah, I see. Not what a customer would actually type into the search bar.
Exactly. She wasn't thinking like a buyer. She learned she had to shift her perspective. So Terrence the teddy bear became something much more descriptive, like crochet sheet plushie, soft lamb stuffed animal, unique baby shower gift, decor for farm-themed nursery.
Much more keyword rich, more likely to get found.
Way more likely. It includes terms someone looking for a gift, or nursery decor, or a specific animal might actually search for.
So how did she get good at this? Did she just figure it out, or?
No, she invested in learning. She took courses. One from Dana Midkiff focused on Amazon SEO, using the Amazon search bar itself to see what auto-populates is a great tip there. Courses from Jenny Hall and Jared Robinson focus specifically on Etsy SEO. They recommended tools like eRank and Marmalade.
Tools designed for Etsy keyword research, right?
Yeah, they help you find what terms people are searching for on Etsy, how competitive they are, and so on. She also cleverly used Etsy ads, not just for sales, but to gather data on which keywords actually converted.
Smart. Using ad spend for research.
And she even found ChatGPT useful for brainstorming titles and descriptions when she had her keywords.
That's a modern twist. And did it work?
Oh yeah, the numbers are pretty stark. Her Etsy shop visitors jumped from about 1,800 in 2021 to 22,000 in 2023.
Whoa, that's massive growth.
Huge. And she also applied SEO principles to her own website for Google search, using insights from experts like Neil Patel on long-tail keywords, those more specific, longer search phrases. She used tools like SEMrush for that broader SEO analysis.
Okay, so multiple streams, mastering SEO. What was the next big strategic shift?
Reframing her products with purpose. This ties back into the mindset stuff, actually.
How so?
Marcy had this realization. People don't buy things. They buy what those things mean to them. It's not about the yarn and stitches.
It's about the feeling or the solution the product provides.
Precisely. She embraced that Seth Godin quote. People do not buy goods and services. They buy relations, stories, and magic.
Love that. Relations, stories, and magic.
It became her mantra, and it fundamentally changed how she marketed her work.
So practically, what did that look like?
Well, she learned from another creator, Ashley, with a crafty concept, that when you sell a teddy bear, you're not selling yarn shaped like a bear. You're selling comfort. You're selling a huggable friend.
Ah, okay. Selling the benefit, the emotion.
Yes. And she adopted Donald Miller's Story brand framework. Have you heard of that?
Vaguely, it's about using story in marketing.
Yeah, the core idea is to position your customer as the hero of the story, and your business, your product, is the guide that helps them overcome a problem or achieve a goal.
Makes the customer the focus, not the business.
Exactly. And tied into this is Seth Godin's idea of radical empathy. Really digging deep to understand why someone is buying from you. Is it for stress relief? Are they looking for a unique, meaningful gift? Are they another maker looking for patterns to build their own craft market inventory quickly?
Understanding those different motivations.
Right. And then tailoring your message. She even crafted her own purpose statement template for products. This product helps customer achieve a specific feeling, solve a problem, or create a meaningful experience.
That really forces you to think about the customer's desired outcome. Very powerful.
It really shifts the focus.
Okay, we've got mindset, multiple streams, SEO, purpose-driven marketing. How does she actually execute all this day to day? Let's talk practical toolkit. Photography seems huge for visual crafts.
Absolutely critical. And Marcy's adamant, nothing beats natural sunlight for photos.
No fancy studio lighting needed.
Apparently not for her. She shoots on her shaded porch, usually between 11 a.m. and 2 p.m., to get that bright, indirect light.
Good tip. What about gear? Phone camera?
She actually invested in a DSLR camera. Said you can get decent ones for around $180 to $280. The key benefits for her were better clarity and the ability to manually control things like shutter speed for different lighting conditions.
Makes sense. And editing.
Canva. She uses Canva Pro, which is about $120 a year for pretty much everything visual. Background removal, editing photos, creating graphics, maintaining cohesive branding across Etsy, Shopify, social media, all of it.
Canva is incredibly versatile.
It really is. And her approach connects to that crucial insight. People buy with their eyes first, especially online.
Definitely. Your product photo is your first impression.
And she has another pro tip related to images. Add text to images.
Text overlays. Why?
Because, she claims, less than 50% of people actually read the full product description.
Well, less than half. Okay.
Yeah. So adding text directly onto some of your images, maybe highlighting if a pattern is beginner-friendly, or if it's an instant download, or the type of yarn used, makes that key info immediately visible, even if they just skim the pictures.
That's really smart. Get the essential info across visually. Okay, beyond visuals, what about connecting with customers? Email lists seem like a big deal.
Paramount. She emphasized this strongly. Unlike social media, where algorithms control who sees your post's organic reach, is often less than 5%, depressingly low.
Yeah, it's tough out there on social.
Right. But email, you own that list.
Right.
And open rates are typically much higher, around 20-30% on average. It's a much more direct and reliable connection.
So how did she build her list? Was it slow going?
It started slow, she said, but then she really focused on it. Grew it to 5,000 subscribers in about 2 years.
That's solid growth. What worked?
Lead magnets were key, offering something valuable for free in exchange for an email address. For her, a popular one was a free pattern for a plush donkey.
Cute.
Yeah. She created a simple landing page for the free pattern offer and then promoted that landing page using a Facebook ad, spending about $10 a day.
And that drove signups.
Consistently. She was getting 30, 45 new subscribers daily from that $10 ad.
Wow, that's a great return.
Definitely shows the power of a good lead magnet and targeted ads.
And once people are on the list, just send newsletters.
More than that. She uses what's often called a trust funnel or a welcome sequence. It's an automated series of emails that go out to new subscribers over a period of time. The goal isn't immediate selling. It's about delivering value. First sharing tips, more freebies, her story-building connection and trust.
Nurturing the relationship.
Exactly. And then, once that trust is established, you can gently guide them towards a relevant paid offer. Give value first, then sell.
Makes sense. Okay, final piece of the practical toolkit, the actual tools and systems she uses to run everything. This sounds like it could be a long list.
It is, but it shows how you piece together different tools to create an efficient workflow. We mentioned Canva for visuals. She uses Meta Business Suite to schedule Facebook and Instagram posts in advance. MailChimp for her email marketing and automation. Teachable hosts her online courses. Shopify runs her website.
Standard platforms for those functions?
Pretty much. For more creative editing, she uses Adobe Creative Cloud, specifically Premiere Pro for video like podcast editing, and Lightroom for more advanced photo editing. Trello for project planning and organizing tasks. Google Drive for file storage and sharing. And again, ChatGPT comes up. She said it saves her hours upon hours, helping with content ideas, drafting emails, descriptions.
Leveraging AI to be more efficient.
Absolutely. It's about working smarter, not just harder.
And some simpler tools, too.
Oh, yeah. She still uses her iPhone for a lot of video recording. Basic stuff like a thermal printer for shipping labels saves time and money on ink, a simple shipping scale. And interestingly, she even outsources things like grocery shopping to buy back more time for her business.
That's thinking strategically about your time.
It really is. And what ties it all together is her discipline. Working in those pockets of time, the 4 a.m. starts we talked about, or even working while her kids napped in the car, it just demonstrates when you're really committed, you find ways to leverage almost every moment.
Truly inspiring discipline. One last area she touched on was craft markets. Any key takeaways there?
Yeah, she learned some valuable lessons, sometimes the hard way. First, choose your venue carefully. She found a huge difference between generic farmers markets and dedicated craft markets.
Oh, how big a difference.
Like a $60 sales day versus a $2,000 sales day.
Oh, okay. Venue matters a lot.
Hugely. Focus on professional presentation. She recommends white tents, using vertical displays to maximize space, arranging tables in a U-shape to invite people in, and having icebreaker products, small, fun, inexpensive items near the front, like crocheted pet fish in little jars or zero-calorie donuts, just to get people to stop and chat.
The lever conversation starter.
Yeah. Offer a range of prices. Hers was $10 up to $97, but most things under $50. And always bring a small project to actually work on at your booth.
Why work at the booth?
It's another great conversation starter. People get curious, ask what you're making. It draws them in.
Ah, smart. And the legal stuff.
Crucial, even for a side hustle. Get your sales tax ID sorted. Open a separate bank account for the business. Keep things clean from the start.
Good practical advice. Wow, what an incredible journey we've unpacked here. Marcy's story, going from that first hideous pig to a multi-stream, thriving business, it really drives home that success isn't just about what you create. It's so much about who you become along the way. That blend of deep mindset work, smart strategies, and just consistent, disciplined action day after day.
Absolutely. Her path from hearing, oh, that's cute, to seeing her designs on magazine covers and signing book deals, it really underscores a powerful truth, I think. Those unique gifts, those passions you have, they aren't just random hobbies. They feel like they're meant to be expressed, brought into the world. And often the world genuinely needs that unique thing that only you can create or offer.
So thinking about that, what does this all mean for you listening right now? Here's maybe a provocative thought to leave you with. What is the ugly pig in your life? What's that seemingly small hobby, that quiet passion, that little idea you keep dismissing? Could that be the seed of something amazing if you applied some of these principles? Intentional mindset shifts, that radical empathy for who you serve, strategic action? Could it become your greatest source of fulfillment, maybe even impact?
Yeah, think about it. Maybe it's just deciding to embrace that Potter mindset, taking ownership of shaping your life, your career, your circumstances. Or maybe it's finally challenging those limiting beliefs that tell you you're not good enough, or your idea is silly. Or maybe it's something really practical, like committing to exploring one new revenue stream this month, or finally learning a bit about SEO for that thing you sell online. Your journey's your own, nobody else's. But the possibilities, they might just be far, far grander than you currently imagine.
So we invite you to just consider, what's one small step, one tiny action you could take today, inspired by this deep dive, to move closer to activating your own wild and precious life, as Mary Oliver wrote, or nurturing that entrepreneurial dream.
Okay, how cool was that? I am still in shock that those were not real people, and yet they shared my story so beautifully. We are definitely standing at the edge of something very exciting. If this is what is happening in life right now, like what else is AI going to do? I mean, it's just remarkable. It really is. So I know some people don't care much for AI, but I am on board. I think it is just one of the coolest things, and it's great for business owners, I'll tell you that. So let me know what you think. I would love to hear from you. Comment on this episode. Tell me your thoughts. I'm just so curious what other people think about this. My husband gave it a bit of an eye roll, but at the same time, I could tell he thought it was cool. He just won't admit it. So if you are also feeling inspired to take the next step in your own creative journey, I would love for you to be a part of this community. You can find more episodes, tips, and resources at marcymade.co. And when you make your first purchase of a crochet pattern, I will send you a free donkey pattern as a thank you gift. So thanks for tuning in today, and remember, you were created on purpose for a purpose. So keep creating, and I will see you next time. Bye, friends.